Jess kicks some dying roses by the path and tries once, twice, 3 times to get the keycard to let her in. Ugh, going anywhere without a DED is such a hassle. Citizens are advised to always wear the data exchange device when it's not charging or synced to a desktop, but Jess always found that annoying. She never wears it when she goes out to the canyons. There's no signal out there anyway. Frustrated, Jess gives the door a good kick, and the keypad beeps and accepts her code at last. Jess hates the fall. The days are so short. It's still only late afternoon, not even 5 o'clock. She stalks into the empty living room and scowls, glad to be alone so no one will ask her about her mood. Her brother isn't home from school, and her dad is probably flying around looking for trouble. Jess huffs and stomps upstairs to her room. The way the stairs clunk beneath her feet is satisfying, but Jess continues with more force than necessary. She's not paying attention and nearly trips over their Mon robot. It cheeps sadly at her as it continues to struggle to climb the stairs. The wheel extensions are out, and it's rolling back and forth on the step, trapped. Another extension should allow it to maneuver household obstacles, but Jess can see the little arm sticking out of the back of the round body, waving about for balance. What are you doing, Cha? You know you always get stuck on the stairs. She pets the round curve of the robot. You're supposed to just clean downstairs. You don't have to vacuum up here, it doesn't even have carpet. Cha meeps at her. Alright, little guy. She sighs, picks up the poor thing, and carries it to the top of the stairs. Cha cheeps and begins vacuuming the floor, going back and forth slowly. The trans got the robot about 5 years ago, and although Cha does a fairly good job of tidying up, tends to be rather clumsy and forgetful. It'll repeat the same motion, over and over, without moving forward. They really should get a new one, but robots are ridiculously expensive, and Jess can't imagine replacing Cha, even if it doesn't do the household chores very well. She pats the Mon robot once more, goes to her room, and throws herself on the bed. Paper crunches beneath her. Jess scowls, grabbing whatever it is between her and her soft bed. She squints at her handwriting. Did she start a homework assignment and forget? Oh. It's her latest research reports on tests of her possible abilities. Jess rereads her report on her attempt at calculating enhanced strength. Now that was a disaster. Her arms still ache from last weekend's bench press incident. Jess scowls at the numbers, crunches the paper into a ball, tosses it aside, then discards another report, and another, until her bed is free of the evidence of all her attempts. Jess flops on her back, and spots the framed photograph of her parents, dressed as Shockwave and Smasher, vibrant and powerful, the pride of their small city. Stomach curls with the sting of disappointing them. Jess closes her eyes. Her older sister Claudia had already been in the metahuman training program for 2 years by her 17th birthday, when she got an offer to join the Heroes League of Heroes when she graduated. The trans had thrown a huge party to celebrate. When Jess turns 17, it'll be official. She's not special. Jess groans. She roots around and finally finds her DED on the floor, half under a sweater. She grabs the slim, square device by the wrist strap and looks at the small screen to see if she has any new messages, but the screen is dark and unresponsive. Great, she let the battery die again. It takes her another minute to find the charging dock on her cluttered desk. Jess plops the device onto the dock, and it buzzes as it syncs with her desktop projector, which hums to life and throws multiple projections into the air. Holopages from the net, a half-finished homework assignment, pictures of Captain Orion, and a series of text messages from Emma and Bells. As the DED connects to the net, it updates with new messages, and Jess is bombarded with rapidly scrolling notifications. The buzzing continues until Jess flicks the DED screen. Jess scowls at the largest open holopage, which is projected above her desk. She'd been reading it and rereading it before she left. checking the fine print to see if there was any way she could qualify as a metahuman. North American Collective Metahuman Registration. Section 4.2, Power Classification, is determined by the total duration the citizen can utilize their meta-ability actively per 24-hour period. Class A, more than 2 hours. Class B, 1 to 2 hours. Class C, 20 minutes to an hour. Class D, less than 20 minutes. Section 4.3, Metahuman Training Requirements. The North American Collective understands that the metagene expresses itself in various and numerous forms and appreciates the documentation of all abilities. However, only abilities listed in Section 3.1 are currently accepted for application of metahuman training. If you would like to register with a meta ability not listed in Section 3.1, read subsection 3.1a and 3.1b on abilities that are not accepted. If your ability does not fall under the unacceptable category, proceed to fill out the petition under Section 15.2. Jess brushes aside the holopage, and the text disappears in trails of blue light. Ugh, registration. Jess doesn't even have one of the unacceptable abilities, like Emma's cousin, who can make his breath go minty fresh with just a thought. Or her neighbour down the street, who can change the colour of his fingernails. Well, 3 of them. They're still considered metahumans, though, and are registered, even if they didn't go through the training process to qualify for the League. The holopage was reformed after Jess's outburst, and she flicks the correct place to close it. All that's left hovering in the air are her messages from today. From Emma, 1:22 p.m. Hey, are you okay? You having a down day? From Bells, 2:40 p.m. You didn't respond to Emma, she thinks you might be sick, I hope you're okay, I got your homework, also the pick people came through, and I placed your beauty on the class page, and her hair looked fine, you missed out, I'm sending you holo. Warm fondness for her best friends distracts her from her disappointment. She clicks to open the attachment, and the DED projects a hologram. The likeness is indeed very cute. How do French braids even work? 2. Emma, 5:23 p.m. I'm fine, just didn't feel like school today. Love heart. To Bells, 5:24 p.m. Thanks, Bells. Doesn't beat the braids she did in September, but this is pretty. Sad I didn't get to see it in person. From Emma, 5:25 p.m. You sure? I can pick up Bells and come over later. Jess chats with her friends until they're reassured and she is caught up on what she missed today, and then works on homework until Char's welcome chirp alerts her that someone is home. How was your day at school, honey? Jess shovels more rice into her mouth. He chews and points apologetically at her face. Her dad adjusts his glasses as he looks across the table, making Jess roll her eyes. Why does he keep on his civilian disguise when he's at home? They all know he's a superhero. Her mum says it's something to do with maintaining appearances and practicing being normal, which is hilarious considering their family. At least at home, Mum doesn't try to pretend that she can't bench press a car, doesn't wear the dorky fake prescription glasses that match her husband's. It's funny how they approach being just Victor and Li Hua Tran differently. Alright, we'll get back to you, Victor says, giving Jess a doting smile. Brendan, Jess's youngest brother, and all-around genius, pipes up. Today, I made a lot of progress on my experiment. It turns out that the problem I had with last week's sequence was that I didn't properly isolate... Jess has no idea what he's saying, but her parents seem reasonably impressed. Brendan is 13 and precocious, and he attends the local college and has been upstaging Jess ever since he was born. He hasn't demonstrated any meta abilities, but Jess is sure he wouldn't have wanted to be a superhero even if he had. Brendan's more into... Okay, Jess isn't sure exactly what he's studying. Something to do with plants and energy? But she has no doubt that Brendan's going to make a name for himself in the scientific community. That's really nice. We're very proud of you, Li Hua says, smiling as she steals a piece of bok choy from her husband's plate. Jess? Jess swallows, the rice sticking in her throat. Been thinking about getting an internship or something. Bound to look great for college, right? Oh, that's a great idea, her mum says, nodding in approval. Victor perks up. I know someone in the mayor's office is looking for an assistant, and Mayor Bradley owes me a favour. Dad, I don't want to get my first job because of your favours as Shockwave, okay? I want to do it on my own terms, because of me and my own abilities. The parents look at each other, and even Brendan has the audacity to snort, "What abilities, Jess?" Shut up! Jess feels her face flush hot with embarrassment. Of the 3 children in the Tran household, only one of them was born with the meta abilities that are commonly known as superpowers. Claudia, the eldest, moved out of town after graduating from college, and is now starting a fledgling life in Crystal Springs as a journalist/superhero. Brendan is going to be a famous scientist and discover new things every day. Jess doesn't have powers. After today, she's exhausted every possible variable. The only way she can move forward is to focus on what she can do. Job is a good idea, but she doesn't want it to be handed to her because of who her parents are. My abilities, Jess says, determined. I might not know what all of those are, but I'm going to be good at something, you'll see. She leaves the table before she gets too frustrated to talk. Doesn't want this to turn into a conversation about her lackluster grades, or her parents' expectations, and then a comparison to either of her siblings. She puts the dishes in the dishwasher and hurries to her room.